Hi everyone, I'm Sloan from SloanBella.com and I'm back with another channeled missing person video. Now this young woman, a semi-pro athlete from Calgary, Alberta, born in Newfoundland, relocated to Toronto, Ontario in order to pursue her music career. She had a boyfriend, they were both in a band, and they moved to Toronto. She had two siblings who both live in Toronto, so this wasn't too far of a venture out for her because she at least had family somewhere close. Now, after the breakup of her boyfriend and the band, which can be quite devastating, she moved up to Hamilton, Ontario. This young woman was 27 years old at the time that she disappeared, which was just a few months ago, the beginning of this year, on January 11th, 2020. She walked out of the big house and the roommates that she shared the house with. Everybody, I gather, had their own rooms, and there were some common areas like probably the kitchen or a rec room or whatever. And she walked out the front door sometime after 4 p.m. on January 11th, 2020, and she never returned. She just up and vanished. So what happened to Holly Ellsworth-Clark? I don't know. So I started to ask the information. A lot of people started speaking about her, asking me because I'm Canadian, she's Canadian. So I thought I would start my Canadian series with her. I wanted to know what happened to her. So I started to ask for the information to come to me, not about whether she was alive or dead. I'm not concerned with that right now. I want to see the information leading up to what happened to this young woman. And then I can kind of dive a little bit deeper into if she's alive or dead. I actually feel like she's alive. I do not feel like this woman is on the other side. So I'm using energy around the situation to try to understand what happened to her. So Holly, a musician, talented, very eclectic, kind of odd, curious girl. When I look at her, I see kind of a Scorpio Aquarius mix with her, but I have no idea what her birthday is, time of birth, day of birth. I just know that she was 27 on the day that she disappeared. However, when I look at her energy, what I see a combination of things. Now, here's what happened before she ended up leaving the area in which she lived. Apparently, according to her roommates and her brother, she basically was calling people, afraid for her life, running through the park. She was an avid runner, which I totally love about this young woman. Her voice, very eclectic, very unique. Her voice is very unique. Anyway, she was a runner also, so she was out running, and apparently she saw two men in a park and she ditched them through the park, came home. This is a week prior to her disappearance, if not a few days prior to her disappearance, came home, broke a window, did not use the front door to her place, climbed in through a window, called her parents, panicked. It was a day or two before she went missing, left a voice message for her parents saying that she was really scared. She was being chased by two men. She was afraid. She wanted to come home. She missed her parents. She loved her parents. She either wanted them to send a plane ticket or come and literally get her physically and take her back to Alberta and to Calgary. And so what happened is the next day after this incident happened, she told the roommates, the police were called. There is differing stories. One of the roommates says that she called the police, but then the father says, which I believe, says that once he talked to his daughter and he was on his way to pick his daughter up, to get on a plane, pick his daughter up when she disappeared. I freaking hate when that happens. You always hear of somebody reaching out and then the parents or relatives go to find them and they just disappear from that point on. That has to be the most devastating thing ever. Her father sent one of her siblings, a brother, from Toronto up to check on his sister. When he got there, he basically was so concerned about what she was describing that he called the police in order to have a report done. The police talked to her. He couldn't get in her bedroom door. She had the door locked. The roommates gave the impression that she was having a nervous breakdown or having some mental issues. I love it. I love it when they say mental issues. Everybody's having mental issues. Nobody can be having a spiritual crisis or an actual paranoid thought because they need to be having a paranoid thought. It's always mental illness. However, having said that, I guess Holly was artistic, she was creative, and those people can be moody, somewhat, up and down in emotions. If they take any drugs, it can throw them over the edge because they are sensitive creatures. They are creative. So Holly's brother was okay, I guess, with the circumstances, phoned the family, explained everything, and the dad said, I'll be there the next day. I'll be there. I will pick you up. So as he got ready to leave Calgary to pick his daughter up in Hamilton, Ontario, she disappeared before he got there. Now, there are videotapes in surrounding surveillance tapes in houses around the neighborhood that see Holly walking out of her front door and disappearing down the street about 4 p.m. on the 11th of January. But she's seen kind of around town. She's seen a little bit later wearing a raincoat. Not really a raincoat. They describe it as a rain poncho made from a green plastic bag. And she's carrying a green plastic bag with something in it. Nobody knows what. And then she was seen again sometime in late March. Well, what looked like Holly in late March, and she was seen again in front of a surveillance camera. Now, here's the thing with Holly. Holly is a 27-year-old, kind of brownish hair with highlights in it, a little bit of red in it. Here's the kicker. She's 6 feet tall. She is a semi-pro athlete, meaning she wrestled in college or in high school. She was a wrestler. She wrestled. So she was physical. She did 3 pre-Olympic, don't quote me on that because I'm not sure exactly how far she got in her career, but she's definitely an athletic girl. This is a big, tall woman. Most women probably aren't taller than 5'8", 5'9". This one was 6 feet tall. So you would notice her definitely walking in the street because she would stand taller than anybody, and you would look at her because she's female. We expect men to be tall, but even they get looked at. This is a tall young woman. Having said that, there's been tons of sightings with her, but yet nobody able to actually find her. Now, the roommates, and one woman in particular, the roommate has kind of switched her stories about what was going on. Holly had mental problems. She was upset. She needed to tune away. She didn't have mental problems. Men were chasing her. Holly did reach out and say that. But what really happened to her? Okay, so I went for a run last week and I tried to do this video and the sound was cut off. I have to actually fix my camera. I'm recording on a different camera. I'm actually recording on my phone. My sound was completely cut off. My camera, which I never take out of the house, it stays here. So I have no idea what happened. I'm going to say that somebody was trying to interfere me from speaking. So I'm going to start speaking now about what I got. What I got with Holly, which I found very interesting, is when she describes the 2 men chasing her through the park and she's running, okay, she gets home, she smashes a window, she climbs in. She also thought people were poisoning her roommates, and trying to spy on her. So she was taking cameras out from around the house, removing things. You could be described as paranoid. Now, here's the first energy I got with Holly. I got her. This is in downtown Toronto, actually, and this is after she broke up with her boyfriend. I saw her sitting in a restaurant. I saw it with a top part and I saw it with a bottom part. So there were people on the top of the restaurant and people on the bottom of the restaurant. I saw a waitress with kind of short brunette hair, much shorter than Holly. That's not surprising. We're all much shorter than Holly. But I saw this waitress. She was wearing a skirt, wearing a top, wearing the apron. So I don't know what that is. Kind of maybe like a black skirt and heels kind of thing. So it could have been like a supper club, dinner club. I saw Holly there and she was talking to a man. She was kind of sitting sideways and I'm looking out onto the street. So I can see through windows, or I'm up on a balcony and I can see. There's a bar to, okay, so Holly's facing me. There's a bar to Holly's left. And this young woman knows Holly, okay? The waitress knows Holly. And the waitress is looking from across the bar at what Holly's doing. Now, Holly is excitedly sitting there and she's talking with her hands and she's talking and she's leaning into the conversation. Whereas the man that I'm seeing, brunette haired, I go right to his feet. They're the same feet I see chasing her through the park. These feet are polished shoes, somewhat wingtip shoes. They're good shoes, not running shoes, not boots. This guy is a suit and tie kind of guy, but his shirt is open. He's wearing some kind of a jacket. He's got on nice pants. So he's a business looking person of some kind of strikes me as a lawyer, manager looking to me in the old school sense. I don't know that people dress like that. Well, they don't in California, but Toronto could be different still. It is different. Anyway, I'm seeing Holly talk to this man. She's talking away with her hands, talking. She's enjoying herself. I feel she's looking over some papers. I feel like she's really excited. Like the look on her face is, I'm really excited. When I look at the man's face, I see him as both predatory and observant of her. I don't see a reciprocation of communication. I don't see anybody really paying attention. I don't see like the interaction of the conversation. I do at certain points, and then I see a very cold, icy stare directed at Holly. Just kind of very, I'm paying attention. I'm watching what she's doing. I'm looking at this, whatever this is. The waitress is watching, okay? And then it kind of fades out for me. Then I see Holly. I see her the night in the park that she's talking about. I see her going up another street that's probably 4 blocks, I'm going to say west of where the park is. I have no idea where the area, what that area is. It's been years since I've been to Hamilton. I mean years, like 37 years, 38, a long freaking time. So it wasn't somewhere I frequented, but I am in Hamilton, Ontario. This is where she went missing from. However, I'm seeing Holly kind of enter off a street, and she's kind of cutting across the sidewalk. So she's cutting across a rural area, not rural, sorry, suburban area into the park, which then becomes rural. And it's a park. It's a park where you walk through it. It's a park where you run through it. They have beautiful, beautiful greenery all over Ontario. It's so beautiful. Vancouver as well. Beautiful country Canada. So there's this outdoor, wildy kind of area, but it's also manicured at the same time. I see her making a beeline across the street, and she just starts running through the park. Now, the other side of the park, I feel like she feels like I can get through this park quick so I can get out to the other street and get home before they catch me, because I can run because I'm faster. So she's running. Now, as I'm looking at her run, she's jogging. She looks at the corner of her eye. She notices these two. Everywhere she's looking, these two are, okay? So for probably a couple of months before she disappeared, these two men are everywhere all over the street, okay? Like everywhere she looks. And she's spoken to the one man, kind of shorter, dark haired. Of course, he's going to be shorter than her, most likely. Not quite 6 feet tall. Good looking man, looks Armenian in features, could be Czechoslovakian. I don't know why I want to say that. Could be that. But I want to say Romanian, Russian, something. The way that he's dressed, he's a little bit out of place in the park because of those shiny shoes. Shoes are impeccable on that man. The man beside him is dressed casually, jeans and a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. Not a sweatshirt, a sweater, a shirt, okay, over the body. Kind of just like white tennis shoes, but not for exercise. This guy's just casual, like he's going to get a coffee, jeans and a hoodie and a t-shirt, sweater kind of thing, okay? I see him a little bit upscale, but not. Like, it's not like he's shopping at Walmart for his clothes. I notice this because I think it's important. I feel like I've seen these people around before. Everywhere I look with Holly, I see these people looking at her like she's becoming paranoid. When she ran in her house and cracked the window to get in, like broke the window to get in, she's doing this because these people are really chasing her. I am seeing it. They're not running full out. They can't run full out, but they're letting her know. I don't know that they were trying to catch her. They're letting her know that we're watching you. Holly comes in and she's like grabbing her head. She's freaked out. She's hyperventilating. She's having panic. I see her probably 3 weeks prior to that doing something I want to say is very similar to microdosing, and she's having a lot of panic disorder after this. I think she may be very sensitive with her chemical makeup and her DNA structure, etc. The DNA structure is very important as I say that. So Holly is in the process of like having panic attacks, a spiritual awakening or a paranoid awakening. She's not completely crazy. This is a combination of things. Those men are everywhere. She goes to the grocery store, there they are. She goes outside, there they are. She goes, for a walk, there they are. She sees them across the street. She sees them everywhere. She is freaked out. They want something from her. That's what I'm hearing to say. They want something from her. So I flash back, okay? I literally flash back. She was picked up off the street, this is what I'm hearing, because of a debt that somebody owed. What I see, well, this is an envelope, but I see a piece of paper and I see somebody with a pen and they're checking off things on this. Height, size, color, shape, DNA structure. It's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm now a broker and I'm out looking at cattle. I'm looking at the cattle's teeth. I'm looking at the hoofs of the animal. I'm looking at the girth and the weight of the animal. I'm looking at the pedigree of the animal. I want this animal in my stable. I want to breed this animal. That's how they're treating Holly. This is the focus of her. What she went in to talk to this guy musically for, naively so, set up by a female friend. There's a female friend that set her up with this connection. I need you to meet this person because he's like a who's who, manager, agent, whatever. I need you to meet them. So there's a connection that way. Now, Holly is in the belief system that this man is going to sign her on a record deal, have her put her out, tour with her, whatever it is. No. He's looking on the list that he sees right here. He's looking on the list and he's like, this checks everything off on my list. Everything. Obviously, they're not telling Holly that. So they are making arrangements for big money to find Holly. This is what she's running from. Instinctually, she knows they want her for something, but she doesn't understand what it is. They are actually looking for Holly to find her for a reason, okay? A pedigree, a breeding reason. She's 6 feet tall. Her teeth are good. The way that she looks, this guy will pay us a shitload of money for her. Now we need to get her out of the country. Now we need to take her. This is why she went underground. Okay, this is why she went underground. There's a sense of apathy to her, like nobody's going to help me. Nobody's going to believe me. They think I'm crazy. There's also a sense of intrusion. She was being spied on. This is not her imagination. She's not paranoid, or better yet, even if you are paranoid, does not mean it's not actually happening and you shouldn't be paranoid. We just say that because we make fun and mock people who are paranoid. We say they're drug addicts, they're mentally ill, they're crazy. No. Somebody is spying on her. Somebody has put something in her room or around her house where they can visually watch her. This led me to believe that somebody she knows in this house or somebody who knows somebody in the house is connected to finding people in a particular way. Now, why did Holly rent from this space? She was emotionally volatile after the breakup with her boyfriend and the band, and it hurt her so much she reacted. She's reactionary, empathic, psychic reactionary. She is the wrong person at the wrong place, and the karma kicked in. It really is an element of bad timing. Had it been somebody who was short and older, it wouldn't have happened. But when they saw opportunity, they took action. I am seeing this. Now, when I'm looking where Holly is right now, and I do believe she is alive, I am seeing some sort of a crane or construction site. It reminds me of a car recycling place where they smash cars down and they haul them up on those cranes and they move them here or there and you don't know what the hell is going on. But I don't see cars. What I see is trailers, and I feel like this is like construction or development on some level, but it's very like, it's not upfront development. It's behind the scenes. Like we go get all our equipment from there, our tools from there, kind of like an outdoor warehouse with a bunch of other crap around it. And I'm looking and I'm seeing a crane come and pick something up, and it is a brown wood box. It's a big ass box. It looks like they may be putting machinery in the box to ship it somewhere, to fly it somewhere. And as I'm looking, it's like I'm looking through a telescope. So this is somewhat hidden on someone's property, probably a huge like business that ships shit like this. And I'm seeing like somebody's looking like this, and the shipping container's going up, but it's a big wood one with thick edges like this. And when I look on the outside, there's a symbol on it that looks a little bit like a green or teal squiggly, looks like part of an Ohm sign and part of something else. So it's a squiggly. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the crane lifted. I'm looking at Holly and she's like, fuck. Like she's in the dark with where it is. She is not dead. She's been maneuvered somewhere. Okay. I feel like she went via the crane to where they ship something to where they fly something. I don't feel she remains in Ontario right now. That's not what I feel with her. And then just as suddenly as I saw that, it kind of blacked out for me. So I'm going to have to do another video number 2 on where Holly is at this point, because I didn't get much more, and I'm going on the information I got during my first meditation when my video cameras didn't record any of it, which was really weird. So I'm going to put this one up. This is my first video on missing Canadian 27-year-old, 6 foot tall, apparently 200 pounds, Holly Ellsworth-Clark. Athletic, kind of medium brown light with some highlights in her hair. You can see her online. I've put her picture on the thumbnail with this. I'm going to leave police contact information underneath in case anybody anywhere has seen her, because I really feel like she is out of the country of Canada at this point. I wanted to add one other thing. At the time that she went missing, there was a budget inn up in Hamilton, Ontario, where everybody said there's sex trafficking, prostitution. It's kind of like, let me rent the space for 4 hours, you know, I'll go have sex. My pimp will pay, that kind of a place, you know, like a Roach Motel kind of thing. And they said that Holly was being trafficked out of there. Although that's a possibility, I feel she was picked up in another direction. I do feel the 2 men I'm talking about are known. I feel like people know them. I really do. The man to the left that was dressed more casual in the park had lighter hair, more of a tuffled kind of wavy, sandy colored hair. The man that Holly spoke to that I think she believed was going to further her career or sign her up for tour or do something like this, that man has literally looks Middle Eastern, Armenian, Czech, Russian, dark hair, dark eyes. He looks like that version of it. That's what I saw with him. And he's a businessman. He kind of looks like he comes to collect debts. So I'm a gambler, I owe debts, he shows up. He also carries a matchstick in his mouth. I don't know what that means. Maybe he has a matchstick in his mouth. I'm seeing literally, it's not a toothpick. It's not used to clean his teeth. I just see right now matchstick in his mouth. Anyway, I'm going to do video number 2 with this. This is the first video I wanted to get out, and I needed to do so before I forgot it all in my head because I did not write it down. So this is my first video on missing Canadian singer Holly Ellsworth-Clark. And I hope people take a look at the picture, Google this young woman, and I don't believe this is mental illness. She could be having a break with reality because of the fearful circumstances, but I actually believe that this is a kidnapping business transaction based on this young woman's DNA structure, appearance, height, and breeding capabilities. This is what I believe. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. And once again, my name is Sloan from SloanBella.com.